Welcome to Decluttering 55 Plus with Michelle Passoff. This is the place to come for news you can use to get things done. Everybody knows that too much stuff is clutter, and cleaning it makes you neater and tidier. To us, it is a life management tool that helps you navigate your next steps. This is what my book, Lighten Up, Free Yourself from Clutter, is all about. As baby boomers, we have a lot in front of us that is confounding and confronting, so we sweep things under the carpet and put them off another day or forever. That is clutter because it keeps us stuck, and my new book addresses all of that. So we're going to bring experts, authors, and authorities here to talk with us about health, relationships, technology, finance, housing. What are you going to do next in life? Passing down your life stories, and even the challenges of making final arrangements. Here we aim to learn, open new possibilities, choose, take action, and create a legacy, not a mess. So let's get started. Our guest today knows a thing or two about what you can do to be more welcoming than you already are to your aging family and friends who pay a visit to your home or come to live with you. She's not only an interior designer and author of the book called Sensible Smart Tips for Living in Your Forever Home, but she is founder and president of the Golden Age Living, a certified aging in place specialist, and master instructor of courses available through the National Home Builders Association for professionals also seeking this certification. When she's not keeping up with an exhaustive schedule, Wanda is a grandma and a two-time first place marathon winner in the 65 to 69-year-old age group. Welcome, Wanda, and thank you for taking the time from your schedule to be with us today. No rest for you, Wanda. You're busy all the time, telling people how they can better accommodate their friends and loved ones in their home as they age. So when you're doing that, I would assume that it's not any changes that you need to make are not as extensive as if somebody's either coming to live with you or you're aging in place. Tell us how you can be more welcoming to your guests.
Well, we want people to come and visit us, as we go through these changes of life. We want to welcome guests in our family. So one thing is we're living longer. So, we have, I'm a mom. I have two sons. I have grandchildren, and I have a great-grandchild.
Wow.
So life expectancy is much longer today than it was 50 years ago. We didn't live to past 60 years old. But today we're living longer. And what we're seeing is that baby boomer generation, which I'm in, is, again, living longer. And we also have, we might have been, I live in Florida, but your children live in New Jersey or your children live in another state. We want to live closer to our families, whether we left because of X, but now we want to say, children are saying, Mom, come back and live with us. We really want to see you. Or Dad, don't you think that you can come and stay for us for the summer? So welcoming guests or family members is about people being able to visit you, whether it's short-term or it's long-term. So what are some of the considerations of whether it's a child or whether it's an adult or they're coming to stay? The important thing is, again, how do we approach our house? So how do people get into our home, regardless of their abilities? Again, it could be grandma pushing her grandbaby in a stroller. So how does grandma get into the house? So we're looking at, again, a step-free entrance. So that's the most important thing is how do people get into your house regardless of what they're doing?
And what are your options with that?
Well,
you have an entrance.
So as an entrance would be, again, at least one step-free entrance into the home. So that could be through the back of the house. That could be through the garage. That could be through the side of the house. But you need to have one step-free entrance.
Could it be a ramp or it has to be step-free?
Well, it's one of two options. Either, so we don't want, normally, we don't want a ramp in front of our house because what does a ramp signify to the person passing by? What message does it give you when you see a ramp?
Handicapped or old age, right?
That's right. Either old age or the person's disabled, which makes the person vulnerable that lives in there. So the reason we're looking for a step-free entrance is, again, to be able to get into the home, but to able to still blend into our community.
I would imagine you actually need like, let's say it's around the back of the house that you have to make sure that involves, sidewalks or pathways.
Yes.
Because I know in my house, the pathway around to the back is through stones and stepping stones, and that's not going to work.
I was just going to say,
you'd have to rethink that.
That's right. So if you have a step-free entrance through the back of the home, then you have to create the travel path. You have to pour concrete or put blocks down so that that person has something to walk on in order to get that. But at least they have a access. They need access into your home through one place that you can create to be step-free.
Okay, and then what's the next thing we have to think of? In
the garage, you could put a lift. In the garage, you could put a ramp. Because that's not public, so somebody's not going to see you in your garage, right? So the other option is to put a ramp or a lift. So now when people are building new homes, they're preparing where the stairs are. They are preparing to have a lift installed. So future thinking, where are you going to be and how are you going to prepare that? So you might not need it today, but you might need it in the future. So it's a design feature that when you're talking to the builder or the remodeler or the architect, you want to say, okay, I want a 0-step entry into my home so that should something happen to me or my guests come to visit me, they'll easily be able to get there. The same thing is the travel path. When we're designing the space, we now have more open space plans. So they're a little bit more, you use furniture to create your travel path, which is different. So you might just have one hallway, but you need to have at least a 48-inch travel path, going down so that in the future, or somebody comes to see you that has an assistive device, they easily can be able to navigate through the home. The other one is, again, if they're visiting you, they come to visit you, where are they going to sit? Is your place of entertainment? Is it your kitchen? Is it your activity room? Is it the back porch? So access through that should be easy, regardless of how they are arriving or what they're going to be doing. Women, what's that game that we play? Marchand. There's activities that people socialize. So women might be having lunch. Men might be playing cards. So where are you doing that and how are people able to get there? Then they need a place. They also need to be able to use the restroom.
Yeah, before you go on to the restroom, in these common spaces where people will be eating or sitting, is there a certain height that couches or chairs need to be in order to accommodate an aging relative or family member?
Well, they should be comfortable. They should be comfortable so that they can easily sit in them. So for older people, it's more easier to get off of a solid chair versus a chair that's like sunken. So you wouldn't want like a completely sunken that has that. You want something because that person needs to hold on to something in order to rise to get out of there.
So having chairs with arms are better than armless?
That's right. Yes. And having chairs with arms so that they can push themselves up, that would be better than having them sit on a lounging couch or on a lounge chair, because it might be a little bit more difficult. So the configuration of it should be, again, the travel path, if you've got a table in the middle, has to be enough space so that person can pass around the table or pass around the place of activity that you're going to participate in. Same thing in the kitchen. If you're going to be feeding them, again, we want to have the ability to be able to have, again, multi-level counters is common. That people want islands in their homes now when they're remodeling. And the island would be at different heights. One so that I could sit, and the other so I can stand at the counter. And then that gives people or guests that you're coming choice. So if we're having a luncheon, if you have an island in your kitchen, you have a counter in front lower.
Are stools good for elderly, or do you want them regular height?
No, they need a little higher. So again, the table height. So the counter would be, again, if I'm standing and I'm cooking, I'm going to be standing at a higher height. If I want a friend to sit in front of me. So that's going to be at table height, so that you can sit and the person can easily be able to communicate with you and maybe socialize and have a cup of tea while you're preparing food, or that you're entertaining. Again, and then being able to get into the restroom.
Okay, so moving along from your common spaces to the restrooms, tell us how you can be more accommodating to elderly guests and visitors, or if a parent or relative comes to live with you, how do you address bathrooms?
Well, so on the first level of the home, you should have at least one bathroom that, again, we mostly have what we would call a powder room, right? You just have a powder room that just has a toilet and a vanity in there. Yeah. So if space permits, a half bath. That's right. So that would be for a guest that's coming to visit you, because all they're going to do is wash. So again, the lavatory and the toilet should be comfort height for that person to see. We should have enough lighting so that we could see what we're doing in that space. And we should have, again, reinforced, I call them balance bars that are on there, so somebody has something to hold on to if they have to change direction or they have to pull themselves up. They have decorative balance bars that I call them balance bars. They have to be safely secured in the wall. But again,
what do decorative ones look like? The only ones I know of are the steel, aluminum.
I know. And no, there's zillions of beautiful decorative grab bars that are, yes, there's beautiful grab bars that you can get that are stylish. And again, their purpose is to help support us. Again, we need that near the toilet, and maybe near the vent where we're going to hang a towel. So you can, again, where the towel bar is, you can make sure that is, although towel bars, we don't want them too close, because again, people usually grab onto a towel when they're falling instead of the bar, so that doesn't make it safe for them. But we do want to have something near the toilet that helps them to.
And you mentioned a comfort size. I didn't want that to pass over the conversation.
Height,
that's not too difficult to change out if you're having a relative frequently visiting or staying. It's a higher height toilet. Is that right?
Yes, it's a comfort height toilet, so it's a little higher, so somebody doesn't have to, bend down so far. And and the other ones, which we also, I think, are just the best thing that came in since sliced bread, is the washlets. So a washlet. Do you know what a washlet? A washlet is a toilet seat that sits. It's a toilet seat that sits on top. That's on your toilet. And it allows dispensation of water. So it washes you and it blow dries you, and it helps to take care of your personal hygiene.
Fancy. Now, is that something you can add on to a regular sized toilet? So you don't even need to change out the original.
No. And for personal hygiene, I think that's the best thing since sliced bread. You can buy it in Home Depot. You could buy it in any of the stores. It's called a washlet. Okay. Costco and Toto was the first person that came out with a washlet. Costco sells a total washlet for under $200. I think it's $250 or $300. They used to be $7,000 when those toilets came out.
You don't have to be even old to want one of those, no?
No, because it's about personal hygiene. Yeah. I think personal hygiene is critical to keeping us safe, not only safe, but also hygienically clean. And as we get older, our personal hygiene is really personal to us. So a washlet is, again, a personal hygiene. It washes you and it blow dries you, and you could take care of that regardless of how old you are.
I heard somebody was telling me a story about how they saved on home care for their aging parent because they had installed that kind of
that washlet.
Yeah, I didn't know that's what it was called, but now I know.
It's called the washlet. Either a washlet is just one that mounts on top of the existing toilet. A toilet, you can get a Toto toilet, and all the big manufacturers, toilet manufacturers now make them. So if you're remodeling, you can go and get a whole entire new toilet, and that one gives you the features of the lid goes up and it washes you and it blow dries you and it washes you with warm water. But I think that the end product it's best for personal hygiene. And if we have parents that are aging, maybe they have arthritis or maybe they had a stroke or this, again, then someone doesn't have to take care of their personal hygiene. And that personal hygiene
now, what if do you need on the first floor of the house, you're saying to have to an accommodating restroom, but
you do not have to have a washlet on the first floor.
No. Oh,
if you had a bedroom, if they came to visit you, if you had a bedroom that had a bathroom in the bedroom, that is a place where you could put a washlet.
I see. And how important it is to have a first floor bedroom for
it is very important for aging in place because again,
this is for visiting guests.
Well, yes, if the guest is staying overnight, then mom's coming to visit. It would be good to have a bedroom for guests and friends. So that's more like a livable environment. So the livable environment allows you, if you had a 2-story home, it allows you now to live on your first floor and have basic access to your home again. And you don't have to move if you have a bedroom. Now you have to have a full bath and you have an eating area. You have a place to eat and you have a place to relax. So you can live on, it's called livable. You can live on the first floor of your home if you have those 4 things. A place to get easy access into the home. You can travel through the home easily. You have a kitchen that's, again, accessible that allows you to have multiple heights in there so that you can eat. And then you have a bedroom in which you can sleep. And you have a washroom, a bathroom that allows you to take care of your personal hygiene.
And then life is good.
And life is good. And if you had a second floor, my sister just has a historical home, and she just put in a lift. So you could put in, again, the number one product that makes the home 2-level home a single-level home is a lift or an elevator. What's the difference between a lift and an elevator?
Yeah,
a lift
and how difficult is that to install in?
Well,
you need a home.
No, yes. Well, we did it. We put it. They had to reconfigure the home, and they had to add another wing on the second floor to create a hallway. But I insisted that we put a lift in there so that, again, regardless of what level they are, she can go from the basement to the first floor to the second floor. So we can easily track. And you might invest.
And can you distinguish what was the difference between a lift and an elevator?
Yes. A lift usually only takes you like 2 levels from the basement to the first floor. An elevator can take you multiple levels. It could take you from the basement to the first floor, to the second floor, to the third floor, to the attic. My sister has an attic. So the lift, her main concern is to get from the basement to the first level, which is her eating area, to the second level, which is her bedroom. So it's more economical. It might cost you $70,000-$80,000 to put a lift in versus an elevator that might cost you $150,000 to put in.
Well, I don't understand. A lift will go upstairs, whereas an elevator will go through ceilings and walls?
No, a lift can go through the floor. So there's 2 different types of lifts. A lift, you can get an exterior lift for the exterior of the home. So if you had a patio in the back of the house and you had 4 stairs that went up, you can get a lift that takes you from one level to the other. Okay. It goes up 6 feet or 4 feet, whatever. Then you have lifts that are internal in the home, and it takes you from one level. So AARP makes those lifts. If people get that magazine, they advertise that all the time. So it takes you a short distance. An elevator, again, I'm on the 11th floor in the building. So an elevator is going to take you up multiple heights. But if you only have the first floor and the second floor, then you can go, if you have step free, you can get it. If you have a basement and you have to go from the first floor from the basement to the first floor, and then to the second floor, again, it's got limitations on the distance that it travels.
So is it safe to say that when you're making accommodations for guests who are visiting or family members who may come to live with you, that you have to have a budget for that, or a professional contractor, or you don't need to make those kind of extensive changes?
Yeah. That's personally people's personal preference. When we have a multi-generational household where we have family members that come and live with us, we might take that into consideration, because now mom is going to come and live with us, and maybe mom has a mobility impairment or mom is in a wheelchair. Again, there we want to make the home accessible, meaning that you can get to any level in the home. So there, we might look at putting in a lift or putting in an elevator that gives everyone access to, regardless of their age or their ability, to the different levels of the home.
Okay, well, having all the comforts of home takes on new meaning as we age. I want to thank you, Wanda Gozdz. Gozdz?
Gozdz.
It's not an easy name to pronounce.
God, but many. I like. There's many gods in the sky during ancient
Gozdz. She is an interior designer and certified aging in place master instructor and founder of Golden Age Living. I want to thank you for being with us today. If you want to get in touch with Wanda, you can go to our website at www.goldenageliving.com. If you want to contact the National Association of Home Builders about finding a contractor trained especially in accommodating elderly at home, you can call 800-368-5242 or get in touch with them through their website, www.nahb.org. I want to thank you again, and let's welcome our family and friends and create community around us, no matter how old you are. Thank you.
And remember, you want a CAP certified, someone that's CAP certified, because they're the experts in making those kinds of modifications as our lifestyles change over time.
Do it right, think ahead, and love one another.
Prepare. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye now.
Bye.
Well, that's all we have time for today. So let's wrap things up with a request that you go to our website, www.decluttering55plus.com, and click on the Let's Connect button. Share your thoughts, insights, and tell us the lessons you've learned. If you're facing challenges or celebrating triumphs on your decluttering journey, we want to hear from you. Connect with us on social media. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, and subscribe to us on YouTube. Let us know you're part of our community by rating and reviewing us from wherever you're listening from today. And don't forget, invite your friends and family, young and old, to tune in too. Let's include them in the conversation. The more, the merrier. Thanks for being with us today. And until next time, this is Decluttering 55 Plus with Michelle Passoff, wishing you a clutter-free day.